Part 1. The Great Lie of Admiration. You've probably said it 100 times. You're beautiful. It feels like the right thing to say, doesn't it? It's polite. It's affirming. It shows appreciation. But here is the truth. It's also completely empty. Not because beauty doesn't matter, but because those 3 words have lost their weight. They have become background noise in a woman's daily life. Compliments like that are safe, predictable, and most importantly, they don't move her. What you need to understand is that desire isn't born in the obvious. It's born in the unspoken spaces, the unexpected moments, the psychologically charged voids between words. It's born from the things that get under her skin and make her feel seen in a way she doesn't even fully understand. Imagine an ancient forest. Most men walk through the forest and say, "Oh, the trees are beautiful." They see the surface, the shapes, the colors. They are judging, but the man of depth doesn't just walk through. He sits down. He feels the silence between the leaves, the way the sunlight filters through the canopy, and the energy of the damp earth beneath him. He doesn't just see the forest. He feels its pulse. When you tell a woman, "You're beautiful," you are like the tourist who only snaps a photo of the forest. You're capturing a surface-level moment, but you have missed the entire living ecosystem underneath. She doesn't need another tourist in her life. She is yearning for someone who can feel the forest within her. The real question isn't, "What should I say instead?" but rather, "Who must I become for my words to have weight?" Because the truth is, your words are only the shadow of who you are. If you are empty, your words will be empty. If you are deep, even your silence can move her soul. Part 2. The Law of Relationship. Let's go deeper into a principle I call the Law of Relationship Echo. The law is simple. The world, and especially a woman, does not respond to your words or actions. They respond to the energetic frequency from which those words and actions originate. Think of 2 tuning forks. If you strike one, the other with the same frequency will begin to vibrate automatically without being touched. Your words are the same. The compliment, "You're beautiful," can come from 2 completely different frequencies. The first frequency is lack. It says, "I am saying this because I want something from you." Your approval, your attention, your attraction. It is a transaction. This energy, no matter how well disguised in pretty words, feels like a beggar. Women, with their fine-tuned intuition, can feel this frequency from a mile away, and it makes them pull back. The second frequency is fullness. It says, "I witness this beauty, and its existence in the world delights me. I require nothing from it. I am simply acknowledging it." This energy doesn't ask. It merely reflects. It's like the sun shining on a flower. The sun doesn't need the flower to do anything. It simply shines, and in that shining, the flower opens to its fullest expression. Most men spend their lives broadcasting the frequency of lack. They try to impress, to conquer, to get. But the truly magnetic man is the one who has done the inner work to shift his frequency to fullness. He isn't seeking validation from the outside, because he has already cultivated it on the inside. So, before you speak, pause for a second. Ask yourself, from what place within me does this impulse arise? From a place of need or from a place of genuine witnessing? The answer to that question will determine the echo you receive. She isn't responding to your compliment. She is responding to its source. Part 3. From Performer to Presence. Society has trained us as men to be doers, to be performers. In our careers, in our lives, and especially in our relationships, we believe we have to be charming, witty, and seductive. We are on a stage, and she is the audience. We are waiting for applause in the form of her interest or affection. But here is a revolutionary truth. Women are not attracted to your performance. They are attracted to your presence. Performance requires effort. It requires calculation. It is always worried about the outcome. Presence, on the other hand, is simply being. It is effortless. It is not calculated. It is anchored in the present moment. The man who is performing is in his head, planning his next line. The man who is present is in his body, feeling the space between them. Think of the difference between a musician who is trying to impress you and a musician who is completely lost in the music. The first musician might be technically flawless, but you hear only notes. The second musician might make a mistake, but you feel his soul. You are not impressed. You are moved. A man's presence is that music. It's when he stops trying to be something and simply is. Calm, grounded, and fully there. When you are in that state, you don't need to search for the perfect words. Because your silence speaks volumes. That silence says, I am here. I am not distracted. I am not in a rush. My entire attention is with you right now. That energy, that undivided attention, is one of the rarest and most generous gifts you can offer another human being. In a world of endless distractions, being fully present is an act of profound generosity. It creates a space of safety, and in that safe space, she feels she can take off her own armor. She doesn't have to perform either. She can simply be, and the connection born in that shared space is where desire begins to grow. Part 4. The Art of Sacred Observation. We've talked about stopping the praise of external beauty. So what do we do instead? The answer lies not in finding a cleverer line, but in cultivating a deeper way of seeing. I call this the art of sacred observation. Normal observation is an act of the mind. It analyzes, it labels, it judges. You look great in that dress. That is mental observation. It compares the image in front of you to a standard of beauty in your head. Sacred observation is an act of the soul. It doesn't analyze. It feels. It doesn't label. It witnesses. It looks not at what is being shown on the surface, but at the energy flowing beneath it. Instead of saying, "Your laugh is beautiful," a practitioner of sacred observation might say, "I notice there's a moment of hesitation right before you laugh." As if you're deciding if it's safe to let your joy out. It's captivating. Do you feel the difference? The first compliment is generic. A million men could say it. The second observation is unique. It could only come from someone who was truly paying attention. It doesn't just say, "I see you." It says, "I see into you." It touches a part of her that she herself may not have been consciously aware of. It makes her feel discovered. This requires you to slow down. You have to listen not just with your ears, but with your entire body. Listen for what is not being said. Notice the subtle shift in her eyes when she talks about her dreams. Feel the change in her energy when a sad memory passes through her. When you reflect these subtle observations back to her, something magical happens. You step out of the role of a pursuer and into the role of a mirror. You are showing her the hidden parts of herself. And there is nothing more intimate or erotic than having the deepest parts of your soul seen and acknowledged by another. It's no longer about seduction. It is soul-to-soul connection. Part 5. Emotional Archaeology. Every one of us is a living museum filled with stories, scars, and hidden treasures. Most relationships only ever browse the main gallery. They admire the polished artifacts, the framed achievements, but true intimacy is found in the back rooms, the dusty, unexcavated places. To become an emotional archaeologist means you have the patience and compassion to explore those deeper layers. It's not about asking prying questions. It's about creating a space so safe that the hidden stories find their own way into the light. Many of us grew up in homes where love was expressed through praise for achievement. My father was such a man. He loved me, I know he did. But he would only say, "I'm proud of you," when I brought home good grades or won a game. He never said, "I see how hard you struggled, and I admire your resilience." As a result, I learned a dangerous lesson. My value was in what I did, not in who I was. When you meet a woman, remember that she has a story like this too. Perhaps she was praised so much for her beauty that she believes it's all she has to offer. Perhaps she was praised so much for being strong that she feels unsafe to be vulnerable. An emotional archaeologist senses these things. When she talks about her success at work, instead of just saying, "That's impressive," he might say, "It sounds like you had to sacrifice a lot to get there. What was the hardest part of that journey?" This question opens a different door. It bypasses the gallery of achievement and enters the workshop of the soul, where the sweat and tears happened. By showing interest in her struggle as much as her victory, you are sending a powerful message. I want to know all of you, not just the polished parts. All of you is welcome here. This is a profoundly healing act. In helping her excavate and embrace her own story, you don't just become attractive, you become essential. Part 6. Masculine containment, being the banks for her river. One of the most misunderstood concepts of masculinity is that strength equals control or dominance. But true masculine strength is not about control. It is about containment. Imagine a woman's emotions are like a river. They can be calm, they can be swift, they can be intense, and sometimes they can flood. Many men, when they see the river of emotion begin to rise, panic. They try to build a dam to stop it with phrases like, "Don't overthink it," or "Everything will be fine." They try to control the flow. The man who embodies containment is different. He doesn't try to stop the river. He becomes the strong, steady banks. He is not swept away by the current. He doesn't judge it. He simply provides a structure, a safe space for the river to be itself. His steady presence says, "Flow. No matter how wild you become, I am here." The banks will not break. This containment is a quiet strength. It is built from your own self-awareness. You cannot be the banks for her river if you cannot withstand the storms within your own. It requires you to have faced your own anger, your own sadness, and your own fear without being consumed by them. When a woman feels this containment, something extraordinary happens. She begins to feel safe enough to surrender. Not surrender to you, but surrender to herself. She can express her vulnerability without fear of being seen as a burden. She can express her anger without fear of being abandoned. She can be her whole, complex, contradictory self, because she knows you are solid enough to hold the space for all of it. This profound safety is the bedrock of true trust. And from that trust, physical intimacy is no longer a goal to be conquered, but a natural expression of the emotional connection that is already there. She doesn't open up to you because of what you say. She opens up because she feels the foundation of your soul. Part 7. The final silence and the call to action. Ultimately, this journey brings us to a place beyond words. It brings us to silence. Not the awkward silence of two people with nothing to say, but the full silence of two people who understand each other without needing language. It's when you can sit next to her, say nothing, and both feel completely and totally connected. That is the peak of presence. The beauty you sought to praise with words can only be truly honored in that shared silence. Because in that space, you are no longer two separate individuals trying to impress one another. You have become one shared field of energy. This journey is not about learning techniques. It is about unlearning. It is about shedding the layers of social conditioning, the need for approval, and the fear that you are not enough. It is about returning to the core of who you are, grounded, present, and whole. To help you begin this journey, I want to share a simple but profound practice. I call it the attuned presence practice. For the next week, whenever you are in a conversation with someone important, dedicate just 10% of your awareness to your own breath. Simply feel the air coming in and out. This simple act will pull you out of your mind and into your body, anchoring you. With the other 90% of your attention, listen to them. But don't just listen to their words. Try to feel the emotion underneath the words. Is it joy, sadness, excitement, fear? Don't try to fix it or change it. Just witness it with curiosity and compassion, the way you would watch a cloud pass across the sky. You don't have to say anything about what you notice. Simply practice the art of witnessing. This exercise will slowly build your presence muscle. It will teach you how to be with another person in a way that is profoundly deep. This is not a short path. It is the work of a lifetime. But it is the most important work a man can do. Because as you learn to truly see a woman, you are also learning to truly see yourself. This journey is not about becoming more attractive to women. It's about becoming more authentic to yourself. And in the end, nothing is more attractive than authenticity. If this journey calls to you, if something here resonates with the deepest part of you, then I invite you to join us. Subscribe and turn on notifications. This is more than a YouTube channel. This is a community for men who are choosing the path of depth over the path of the superficial. Let's walk this path together.